Hey, what's up, guys? So today is gonna be the start of a brand new season. I ended it with Plat 2. I didn't bother grinding out for the last two ranks to get the diamond. Just didn't have that much time. So hopefully this season I'll have a bit more time. But I know this month with the holidays coming up and stuff, I'm gonna be really busy. I might be gone for almost a month out of town. Just kind of preface things, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, so let me go ahead and start off with a little bit of story time. For those who are interested on hearing how the deck was doing in best of three game actually. So um, yeah, I took this deck into a best of three game, just one game, just to try it out and see what kind of strategy I was going to be facing against. So I ended up playing against a Grixis control deck. So they're essentially playing all the Nicoboluses, all the big Nicobolus, the well, not the big one, but um the War of the Spark Nicobolus, the 5 mana one. They were playing Narset. They were playing the 4 mana Nicobolus, and they were playing also um, the Bone Crusher. Ironically, it seemed a lot very similar to my deck that I built that I haven't really touched in a while. So if it was a viewer that I was playing against, cool, to see the deck was being pilot. And it was a very tough match for me, honestly. Uh, well, namely because I wasn't expecting certain cards. So game one, um, I was doing kind of well, but they did around turn 3, 4. They did drop a Gravedigger's Cage on me, so that caught me off guard, and I was already blowing through a lot of my resources to try to set up my graveyard, and just when I had it set up, right before I was about to, um, unleash the Kraken, figuratively, they dropped a Gravedigger's Cage on me, and I just didn't have enough resources to recover from that. I had like maybe a land or two lands in hand or something like that, and all my draw cards, my ability to draw, was based off of the Faithful Mending in the graveyard. And when they dropped that, I just couldn't draw. And they were dropping Big Daddy G or Big Daddy Bolus, I guess, and a Baby Bolus, and I wasn't gonna sit there and outrace them. Um, if they're upticking the Bolus, and I was just drawing one card per turn. I mean, at that point, I was hoping to draw my Cleansing Nova, which I main deck to kind of answer that. Found out that I wasn't gonna draw into it anytime soon. So I scooped game one. Game two, deck, yeah, I went first. I went pretty crazy. I went Thoughtseize, set up my board really quickly. And then I think I brought out a Jin Texas turn 3 or 4. I don't quite remember. So they didn't. Luckily for me, they didn't have the Gravedigger's Cage, and so I dropped the Jin Texas, drew 7. They played Baby G and something else. It didn't really matter too much because they had 0 cards in hand. I had 7, and so yeah, that was pretty much that game. Game 4, or sorry, game 3 was where it got real interesting and where I thought I was gonna for sure lose the match. So they go first. I think they shock land. They shock themselves. They drop a Gravedigger's Cage immediately, turn 1. Now usually that would mean like I would just scoop up the game, go home, call it a day, you know. But I was like, okay. I looked at my hand and I was like, okay, I have a lot of draw cards. I got like 2 Archmage Charms. I have Faithful Mending. I can maybe stall out the game, try to draw my outs to the Gravedigger's Cage, and maybe win from there. And so I was like, all right, we'll play it out. We'll see what happens. So turn 1, I think I go Consider or something. Draw. I forget what I'd pitch. Doesn't matter. Turn 2, I go Faithful Mending. I'm gonna basically keep trying to draw on my outs. At this time, the only card I think I sided in was Portable Hole. So this card right here. So this is the card I sided in, Portable Hole. And so basically, Portable Hole and Cleansing Nova I think were my only outs to the Gravedigger's Cage. So turn 3, I go Archmage Charm, draw 2 more. He's up a land or mana because I think he goes Prismatic Command, and then make a token. And he tries to drop the 5 mana Planeswalker bolus on me, and I think my turn 4 or whatever, I had Archmage Charm. I counter it. I think I draw more Faithful Mendings. I keep cycling it. By this time, he's got like 6 lands. He drops a small baby G, so he's already up ahead in cards and advantage and everything. I'm like kind of down cards. I do have an Unburial in the graveyard. I think I have a Coma and something else in the graveyard. So my graveyard's kind of set up. I just need to draw an out to the Gravedigger's Cage. Now, I think by turn 5 or turn 6 rolls around. I'm like down two cards left in hand. I do top deck the Portable Hole. At the moment, I think must have 18 cards or something in my graveyard. So like I went through a majority of my deck already, just cycling through hard casting the Mendings and the Archmage Charms and the Stitch Suppliers, stuff like that. I was just trying to thin out my deck and hopefully not mill my answers, because if I mill my answers, obviously I'm just gonna go ahead and scoop there. But luckily I threw out 18 cards or so. I didn't mill anything, so I go ahead and get the Portable Hole. A Portable Hole, he was tapped out already, so it was great because he knew like I wasn't doing anything outside of just drawing, so he was playing very aggressive. He has both Big G and Baby G on I don't know why I keep calling them G's, but they're more Bolas, big Bolas and Baby Bolas. Yeah, so he has both of them on the board. I go Portable Hole, Unburial Rites into a Coma. So this is where things get kind of interesting, right? So I have Coma on board, cool. His turn, he upticks Planeswalker Bolus to 6, and then he goes to try to, I guess, cast Meat Hook or something at 3 to get rid of my Coma token. But he's up a lot of mana too, so I think he's got like maybe I want to say like, yeah, he has like maybe probably 8 lands by now. I don't remember. I was also down on lands too, because I was discarding lands because of both boluses. Because when he was upticking it, I was just getting rid of my lands in my hand. They were dead, and then discarding lands because of small bolus. So yeah, I was only at 5 or 6 lands. He was at maybe 8 to 9 lands. So he has a lot of mana open. So he goes Meat Hook so he spends 5 mana doing that, right? To try to get rid of my Coma token or something like that. So I'm not too sure what his thought process. I think he might have cast something else, but or something where I thought he should have flipped the big bolus immediately, but he didn't. I think he wanted to get the plus off and try to get rid of my token in order to kill my Coma or something like that. I think I thought he had a removal spell outside of the Meat Hook Massacre. So what I did is I sacked the token with the Coma. I tapped the bolus because I was at very low life too. I think I was at 7 health. So if he attacks me twice with the bolus, with flying, I'd be done. So I tap out the bolus with the Coma ability. So if you don't know, Coma has the first ability here, which is I don't really use that often, but in this time it really paid dividends. So what happens? I tap the bolus. It goes into, it gets tapped. He can't activate the bolus's ability to flip it. Okay, cool. So he's like, all right, I guess he's gonna go to plan B. He casts I think a Narset or something like that, and then passes it over to me. So now his bolus, his Planeswalker one is at 6 mana. I make a token off of Coma. I smack the bolus for 6 because he doesn't have the bolus to block anymore. I think what he was trying to do, I think the reason he didn't flip the bolus was because he wanted to use bolus to block Coma. Because even if he did flip the bolus, I guess he had no way of getting rid of Coma. Because if he goes Coma, or he goes minus with the 5 mana bolus to try to get rid of Coma, I would have sacked the token, give Coma indestructible for the rest of the turn. Because you only need to activate it once, and basically Coma has regen, I guess, or whatever, the regeneration shield kinda, until the rest of the turn. So he just can't be killed. So even if he did flip big bolus and got the 7 mana one out, he wouldn't be able to deal with Coma at all. So I think that's why he didn't tap and flip over the Bolus immediately and make a big one. It's because he wanted to protect his 5 mana one, 5 mana Planeswalker. That kind of backfired on him because I tapped it out with the Coma ability. I ran over the 5 mana Planeswalker. I think I cast another Burials or a Priest, and I summon out I get out Vorinclex. So now I have Vorinclex on the board that he's got to deal with too, on top of the Coma. Passes over to him. During his upkeep, I make a Coma token, and then I immediately sack that Coma token to tap out his Bolus. So this means his 4 mana Bolus is now nothing. He just can't do anything for the rest of the game because I'm just gonna keep tapping it out. He can't flip with it. He can't attack with it. He can't block with it. So I lock out the Bolus with that, and I still have a token I created during my turn to kind of protect Coma in case if he tries to kill it. So he goes I think he drops another 5 mana Planeswalker, another 5 mana Bolus, and now I think he was deciding whether to uptick the Bolus or downtick it. So he decides to downtick it to get rid of my Vorinclex. So he pops it with the 5 mana Planeswalker, which is good, you know. I thought that was fine with me because now he's locked out with 5 mana, so he can't spend that 5 mana next turn. And so he goes into like I think another Narset or something like that. You know, searches another Narset. Okay, cool. My turn. I make another Coma token. I swing in at Big Bolus and the small Narset, getting rid of both of them with my Coma here, plus the small one. And then I had another revival spell, so I bring back the Vorinclex again. You know, like I think that was my only other good payoff that I had in the graveyard. So I was like, all right, you know, let's go ahead and jam another Vorinclex. Let's see if he can deal with a second one. His turn comes around. I go ahead and I do the same thing. I lock down his small Bolus with the Coma ability, and he jams. You know, the Narset. You know, searches something. Now he's kind of locked out of his mana because I believe, you know, he has like maybe after being locked out of 5 mana with Vorinclex. So I think he has like 10 lands or something like that. So he has 5 mana to work with. So he jams the Narset, searches for like I think some sort of board wipe or removal spell. I don't quite remember. But he only has 2 open mana left, and he's gonna be jammed out of another 3 mana next turn because of Vorinclex. And he's at healthy right now. He's at 19 health, I believe. So he's not too afraid of dying, but I think he didn't calculate how much damage I could do during my turn. I didn't even realize it. But so what happens is, okay, he passes over to me. I make another Coma token. So right now on my board I got a Coma and 3 Coma coils. 2 of them can attack. 1 of them just created, so it's got the summoning sickness, and I have a Vorinclex. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I get rid of the Narset and, you know, deal some damage and set up my board. But I looked at it and I was like, I think I have lethal. And so I did some basic mathematics. I go, okay, Coma 6. I got 2 tokens, that deals another 6, so that's 12 power there. Oh, I also have a Vorinclex with 7 power, so that's exact lethal, 19 damage. So I swing in, said GG, attempt to swing in, and I think he scooped after realizing how much damage I had on board. So yeah, that game definitely was like a tough game. Like I didn't expect to fight so many Planeswalker, be down so many cards. Keep in mind, he was playing a lot of Thought Seizes and Inquisition, so he was annihilating my hand of all my cheap cards. Like he was getting rid of my Bone Shards. He's trying to get rid of my Archmage Charms, stuff like that, so that I wasn't really able to play properly, and I was just being stuck in my hand with a bunch of big payoffs. So I think he was doing really well. Like he was playing the Grixis control deck how it's supposed to be played. But I think Just my payoffs just happened to be stronger and more powerful than his, and they were cheaper in a sense. Yeah, my deck. I think he did end up drawing I think he did drop a Soul Guiding Lantern during one of the last couple of turns of the game, but it didn't matter at that point. I had a Vorinclex and a Coma on board. I think he could have just banished my entire graveyard, and I didn't care. I think the only thing I had in there left was a Faithful Mending. So when he played the Soul Guiding Lantern, he just got rid of my one copy of Faithful Mending in my graveyard. At that point, the game was already over. Like I got his Gravedigger's Cage was out of commission. I had I think I also had an Archmage Charm in hand to back up my Coma and Vorinclex, but yeah, just these two creatures on board like took control of the game immediately. And he just couldn't deal with it. If he had I think cheaper removal, like maybe Infernal Grasp or something, he might have dealt with the Vorinclex a little bit better, a little bit more mana efficient. But yeah, he dumped the bolus into him, and I thought like, okay, well, I get it, like you Vorinclex demands an answer immediately. Same thing with Coma. Coma kind of does demand an answer, but Coma doesn't outright win you the game. It just wins you the game over a longer period of time, because every turn, your opponent's turn, you're making a free 3/3 token, and Coma himself is almost ridiculously hard to get rid of, you know. And so Coma doesn't win the game immediately. Vorinclex does threaten to win the game immediately, because if you play any spells to try to deal with him, or if you don't deal with him, you let me have double my mana, that's even crazier, because then I can just start hard casting stuff. I can start hard casting, Shieldred, Emercy, any of this stuff for basically just 3 land, like 3 or 4 lands. And so Vorinclex accelerates my game plan. If I can't revive something, I can just jam them by hard casting them. And so they really do have to deal with Vorinclex. If he doesn't get, they don't find an efficient answer to Vorinclex, it will finish the game. And it's a really decent closer, or at least it will push you ahead. So both these 3 cards right here, like the Jintaxis, the Coma, and the Vorinclex, will put you really far ahead. Things like Dream Trawler and Shieldred is just value over time, but not that great. Like I don't really care for Shieldred as much. Shieldred is cool. Every turn you can kill something, but usually like they'll sack something really, really like not worth it. Like they'll kill off a token or something with the Shieldred. And the best thing about the Shieldred is if you have another payoff, she combos off with them. You can bring back another payoff for free. That's the best thing with her. But she herself is not gonna win you the game outright. Like the 6/6 is kind of weak. She's not that beefy. So but yeah, that's the thing with Shieldred. And the Emercy here can win you games, against certain decks outright. If they don't have an answer to Emercy, you just win there. But at the same time, she doesn't provide you value over time or anything. Like if the game drags on and they eventually remove her, you're in a bad spot. Dream Trawler is just to kind of force her way back in the game. It's a card that will either do one two things. Either if we're really behind, if they don't get rid of it, we can kind of crawl our way back into the game by just keep attacking and making it really big. So we can attack, draw a card, heal up a little bit, try to keep ourselves in the game. Hopefully, draw our payoffs to win us the game later. So yeah, that's just the Dream Trawler thing. Unfortunately, it's still really weak to board wipes, and this format has a ton of board wipes. When Dream Trawler was back in Standard, and people were cheating out Dream Trawler with Elspeth's Escape from Death or something like that. Like Dream Trawler was nearly impossible to deal with. Like there wasn't that many great board wipes. Like the best board wipe at that time was, I think, the crappy Wrath, where like it kills a creature, it kills all the creatures, and then everyone draws a card if they have a power 4 or higher creature. I totally forgot what that was, but either way, there was not a really efficient way to deal with Dream Trawler. But in Historic, they're just you got several um, you know different packs of cards that have good efficient board wipes, and so Dream Trawler's not that great. If you had Indestructible, it'd be perfect, but it'd be a little too broken. The cool thing about Dream Trawler in this deck is it can also act as your closer. So if your opponent doesn't have any flying to block with it, you can pump Dream Trawler, and I think I mentioned it before. You can pump him to really big numbers. Pump him to 10 attacks or whatever, and then just run people over with it. So Dream Trawler is still a decent card, but yeah. Okay, so now onto the deck and some changes I made to the deck, and we'll kind of explain to it, and I'm gonna do a bit more play testing with this deck, and perhaps in best of three when I climb back to um, platinum. Right now, I think I'm sitting in gold because it's just a brand new season, so I'll for sure get back to platinums. That's a pretty easy grind for me here. Play if you're my recommendation if you're grinding from bronze or silver or gold, always do best of one. Never do best of three. Reason why is you gain double the amount of rank points from just playing best of one versus if you're playing best of two or best of three. It takes a lot longer, but and you're not really playing quick games to climb really quickly. You're kind of stuck playing those really long, dragged out games, and I don't think you really get to double your play points like you would in best of one. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. That I'm not 100% sure on. But yeah, until you hit platinum or diamond, then you can start doing best of three. Especially if your deck has a really good overall win percentage. If you're winning like 60-70% of your games with that particular deck, you feel comfortable piloting it, then I would take it into best of three, and then I think you'll have a good time there to efficiently grind out and win. Because in best of three, unless you're going for aggro or a very fast-paced deck like this one, then in best of three, if you're playing control or something like that, then you'll probably be better off grinding ranks in there. Okay, so I think I kind of digressed a little bit too much there. So let's get back to the deck here. So changes I'm gonna make um, is I'm gonna take up the Thought Seize again. I'm gonna pump it back down to three because I think I mentioned that this deck has a really crappy time top decking. Like if you're in top deck mode, you top deck this. I think you should just scoop up and move on to the next game or something. It's not it's I love Thought Seize, but this deck does run out of gas and steam really quickly. It's a very explosive deck, but if you run out of gas and steam and your opponent is like 3 or 4 cards ahead of you, Thought Seize is not going to save you. It's if you top deck this thing, you're gonna probably be further behind. So changes I've made is I did want to try 2 portable holes in the main deck to answer things like Gravedigger's Cage and slow. Oop, my music kind of went ham there. Give me a second. To basically portable hole was to answer Gravedigger's Cage, Soul Gliding Lantern, Rest in Peace, stuff like that. It does not answer Leyline of the Void, unfortunately. If you're playing against a black deck, you should expect them to or a control deck, to play maybe Leyline of the Void. Cling the Dust, there's not much we can do about. Honestly, if they cast Cling the Dust and they remove one of your payoffs, just pray that you're fast enough that you have more cards in your graveyard than they can deal with Cling the Dust. If they play Gold Blank, we're kind of screwed. That we have absolutely no zero for Gold Blank, no answers to Gold Blank. We can only really counter it, and that's our best shot there. So Gold Blank really hurts. It's kind of like Kaya's Guile. For those that play Modern, I play Esper Control in Modern, and Kaya's Guile will always almost wreck any graveyard centric deck. Like you can just hold it, you can just wait for them to commit to a play it at instant speed. They won't see it coming, and then they just lose. Even if they expect it to come and they try to play around it, it's very difficult to play around. Like I've won almost every single matchup against decks that use the graveyard. So basically like Phoenix, any Death Shadow decks, any Darcy Murktide decks, those decks I have a real good time with. It's just because Kaya's Guile. Just I was like, okay, they want to play Unholy Heat and they have Delirium up, and they think they can kill my Planeswalker. Kaya's Guile. Now their Unholy Heat did 2 damage, and their entire graveyard's gone, and I can make a token or force them to sacrifice a creature. Sort of like a 2-for-1 deal. So Kaya's Guile is very good. Thank God that the Gold Blank, if you don't know what card I'm talking about, let me go ahead and search it up. Yeah, thank God Gold Blank is not an instant speed card, because otherwise I probably wouldn't even play this deck. But yeah, against decks that play black, just be careful of this card. This card is a very popular side card. It's a very good card because it will outgrind you, and that's the entire idea of the card, is that it 2-for-1s you, and it gets rid of all your resources in your graveyard. So this card absolutely very detrimental to our strategy. So if you see this card, or you suspect your opponent's playing this card, yeah, just go ahead and dot seize it, save up your counters, just do whatever you can to avoid them casting this card. One way you can fight against it is with this right here, Test of Talents. So that's one way. That's the reason why I play Test of Talents, is to, if they play cards like this, or if they play counter spells, we just Test of Talent them. Hopefully that's enough to answer all their copies of their, in their graveyard, or sorry, not in their graveyard, in their decks, in their hands, and then we won't have to deal with that for the rest of the game. So yep, that's what Test of Talent is here for, just in case you're curious as to why I have it there. It unfortunately kind of doubles up with Dovin's Veto, so you can probably just pick one or the other to play instead. I'm playing Dovin's Veto in case of I'm going against other control decks, and I need to counter something that they can't counter me back. That's why I have the Dovin's Veto, but it's kind of fringe. I haven't really run into that yet as much, so probably don't really need Dovin's Veto. Plus, we were playing the last Thoughtseize in the side deck, so might not need that many counter spells in the side deck. So we'll see about that. Anyways, I think I've mentioned what we're weak against. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm playing less Cleansing Nova. So my thought process here is I can side one of them. What I've noticed is board wipes haven't really come up too much in our games. Our games is if we're really behind on mana or something like that, or really behind, and our opponent is very aggro. 5 mana is too slow. So for 5 mana, board wipes is a little too slow to deal with that. Oftentimes we'll be dead or something like that. But there are times where I've successfully casted Cleansing Nova and won my games. So that's fine. The thing with fast decks is you just gotta be faster than them, and that's really it. So it comes down to kind of luck of the draw. So I don't really have a good way of dealing with super heavy aggro decks in this particular deck, because we are a combo deck. We don't want to really be playing too many board wipes and stuff like that, because that kind of makes our hands even more cloggy. It slows down our deck considerably, and we want our deck to be really fast anyways. So that's why I'm trying to trim this down to 1. It'll be there in case we really need it, so we know. It's kind of like it's one of those things where it's in the back of your head that you might have an answer out to something. Namely, it's gonna be here to basically play against the Silesian decks that are playing like sorry, let me slow down so I don't step over myself. The Enchantress, where they draw cards and they play a bunch of enchantments. They play Cat of 9 Lives. They play, the prison style deck where you can't beat them because you don't have an answer to their enchantments. So this is what the Cleansing Nova is for. So we can beat those decks, and go from there. This is the new addition here, and now this is kind of like spot removal, and this will deal with basically anything for the most part. Like, not many people are going to be playing enchantment removal against my deck, so I don't suspect, like, if I were to play this, they would just get rid of it. So this is to remove Gravedigger's Cage. It's to remove anything that's kind of threatening. So what I noticed, like, playing that Grixis deck and having a main deck Gravedigger's Cage game 1, I realized you know, even if I did see the Cleansing Nova, I would still lose because I lose out on tempo. Spending 5 mana to kill a 1 mana Grabdigger's Cage is absolutely bad. Like, even if we kill it, we're unless I have my board set up or if they play another one, you know, we're doomed. So that's the problem with Cleansing Nova is that it's a tempo loss. Like this deck, we're losing a lot of tempo already because we're playing so many draw cards, and you know draw cards is a tempo loss. Like you're not developing your board, you're setting up your hand, which is nice. You have card advantage, but your board is empty for the most part. So if you're casting Consider, Faithful Mending, Archmage's Charm, we're losing out on tempo. So that's something very important to keep in mind is that a lot of decks that are aggressive, they're very tempo based. They're pumping out threats left and right, and we're not really pumping out any threats until you know turn 4, maybe turn 3 at the earliest. You know, then we're just gonna be pumping out threats. But yeah, for the first couple turns, we are gonna be losing out on tempo, and that's just something that's a combo deck, reanimator deck like this. You just kind of have to deal with that. To kind of recover that tempo, we do have a bit of you know removal. We have the bone shards, we have the thought seizes. That helps, but you know that's just the nature of this deck is that we're playing combo. We're gonna be losing out on tempo. So banishing light, I'm debating. So I wanted to play portable hole over banishing because portable hole is cheaper. You know, so we're not really losing out on that much tempo. We can still remove small threats and still you know efficiently use our mana to do Faithful Mending and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's very narrow. It's very niche, the portable hole, I guess. So portable hole, like, I also don't want it to be dead. You know what I mean? Like, if you draw portable hole, like I mentioned, this deck has a real shit time at recovering. Like, it absolutely cannot win a top deck war. Like, if you top deck Thoughtseize, you top deck any of your payoffs, you know, you're in for a bad time. So I don't know about portable hole. Like I love it in the sense that you don't lose tempo, you know, or mana tempo, I guess, but it's just very narrow in its use. Banishing light is a little bit better in my opinion because we're not losing that much mana to answer their you know one mana threats to us, basically like the Grabdigger's Cage. So if I play banishing light, I can still you know play something else on top of that. Versus if I play Cleansing Nova, that basically ends my turn right there. Because this deck rarely goes above 5 mana. Like at 5 mana, we probably want to stop playing our lands. We probably want to keep our lands in our hand, actually, to either discard for Bone Shard or discard for Faithful Mending to replenish our Reanimator spells or our counter spells. So at 5-6 mana, I think you should stop casting your lands and just keeping it in your hand to either act as a you know to represent a counter spell or represent a threat. Because like if you play all your lands, you have like 8 lands on your battlefield. It doesn't really serve you any purpose because if you have 8 lands and you're trying to cast any of your payoffs, you're in a bad spot anyway. So that's one thing to keep in mind when piloting this deck is to know when to play your lands and to know when not to play your lands and when to hold them back in your hand. So that's just something I noticed playing this deck myself. The more I pilot it, so that's just something you want to keep in mind. So the other one card I think I might like better than Banishing Light is I think I might like what's the card called? I am lost for words right now. Totally forgot it. It's a white card. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's 3 mana. I'm sure you guys already know what I'm thinking of, but I don't know if I have them. Sorry, kind of coffee hasn't really kicked in yet. Okay, here you go. So it's this card here, Sky Enclave. I thought this card might be better than Banishing Light for 2 reasons. One reason is it puts a body on the board for us, which is great. You know, we can use it as a blocker. We can be a little bit aggressive with it, and it hits pretty much any hate stuff that we would need to deal with. So it hits, you know, it hits the Gravedigger's Cage. It hits Rest in Peace. It hits I don't know, creatures if we need to deal with creatures, the hate creatures. You know, it hits. Most importantly, it hits Leyline of the Void. So that's the one thing Portable Hole couldn't hit was Leyline of the Void. This card and Banishing Light can hit both of those, which is great. That's perfect. Like that's what we want. The second thing why this card might be better than Banishing is we can actually reanimate this thing. So let's say it dies or we discard it and we have a Shieldred, or if we have a Banishing, if we have an Unburial Rites or even a Priest and we're in a jam, then we can just revive this thing, remove our opponent's threat, and then just continue playing. Banishing Light, we have no way of recycling it, and I guess if they're playing some sort of like removal spell and they remove our Banishing Light, they can potentially get back their card, and then that poses a problem for us. The thing I like about Sky Enclave, is that it's also not a tempo loss. So if we play this, we can still keep our tempo, and it's not really much of a tempo loss. The only negative side I can see about this is that it's creatures easily get removed, but that's fine. You know, if they remove it, they get their token. Token doesn't really matter too much. I'd rather them get a 4/4 token than have Leyline of the Void on the board. You know, trade off there. Problem is they can remove it. Second problem, it's double white, and that may be an issue. I mean, I don't know. I've designed the mana base to try to maximize our probability of getting all the colors we need. We have a lot of cards that fix our mana, mainly the Considers and the Mending, to try to fix our mana. So I don't know. I don't think playing this card is going to be detrimental to us. So I might try it out. I might go ahead and just craft another one here, play 2 in the main, and see how that goes. So it's obviously kind of counterintuitive with the Cleansing Nova. Like we don't want to have Sky Enclave or Skyclave and then cast a Cleansing Nova, because then we would kill our own creature and give them their token. So that's the only real detrimental thing, I guess, if you can say that. But it's honestly not that bad. So I think maybe 2 might be good, maybe even 3. Like this card, depending on how well it does, I might even bump this up to 3 and just get rid of the Cleansing Nova altogether and just relegate this card to the side deck, and not worry about it. So yeah, let's go ahead and try it out. I think in theory I might like this card over the Banishing here. Let's go ahead and slap that in. In terms of the side deck, not much has changed. I kind of just threw in the 4th copies of the Thoughtseize and Bone Shards into the side deck for now. I mean, depending on what your matchup might be, you might want 4 copies of one of these. Portable Hole, depending on what I see, maybe game 2 or something. If I think they're just playing really, really cheap graveyard hate, like the Soul Lantern, the Rest in Peace, or the Gravedigger's Cage, then I might side into Portable Hole to efficiently deal with those cards, rather than rely on Sky Enclave, or I don't know why I keep saying Sky Enclave. I'm thinking of the black demon creature, but Sky Apparition over here. I might side out the Apparition and play the Portable Holes in, or play both to kind of deal with their graveyard hate. Other than that, nothing else has really changed. I never got the chance to play against other graveyard decks, so I never sided in Lanterns, or I never sided in Ashiot, so I have no idea how they'll play. I took out all the board wipes because, like I mentioned, they're kind of a tempo loss, and if I'm playing against a creature-based deck, I'm gonna try to jam Sarah's as quickly as I can, and that should just win you the game out right there. Let's see here. Vanishing Verse, I still haven't used yet either. I still think it's worth playing because there are monocolor enchantments and monocolor stuff that we will probably want to deal with efficiently. without losing out on too much tempo, and so Vanishing Verse is still good. And like I mentioned with the open veto and the test of talent, that's entirely up to you if you want to play both or you want to maximize out on one of them. I personally do not know which is going to be better. I'm thinking test of talents because there's more sorceries and instances that hurt us, like board wipes, removal, counter spells, stuff like that. So I think test of talent is going to be better than Dovin's veto. But I haven't really tested it out, so I don't really know there. But yeah, so since it's the start of the new season, we're gonna try this out. And we're just gonna play best of one until we get to platinum. Once I get to platinum, then I think I'll switch over to traditional and we'll play best of three. So yeah. I think I already spent nearly 4 minutes on story time and gameplay or whatever, or without actually playing a game. So sorry about that. I tend to talk a lot. Alright, so go ahead and do the god list here. Creature based deck elves. Alright, we're gonna try to dig for Sarah's and jam her as quickly as we can. If not, we can jam the Vorinclex turn 4, hopefully. We did go first, and they are playing a tap land, so they're gonna be a little slow here. Unless they're playing combo, then we're gonna be kind of screwed. I definitely want to get rid of this and maybe a coma. Tough choice here. I think coma can make me blockers. Vorinclex is great, but he's a crappy blocker, so I think I'm gonna do this. I mean, next turn I'm probably just gonna Faithful Mending again. So I don't think I really need to do anything here. I could Jintaxia. That's a pretty spicy get rid of their entire hand. I like that too. Our hand is kind of garbage because our hand is just a bunch of lands right now. We're not really doing anything. So I think they're definitely playing combo. So I think let's go ahead and jam this here. We are gonna try to get rid of their hand, maybe. I don't know if that'll be enough. So we have one choice of, I think we're gonna do Jintaxis, namely because I want to see if I can draw into Sarah's Emercy and dump her and some other reanimation spell. Right now our hand is kind of real bad right now, so we're gonna try to fix our hand with the Jintaxis. Prioritize that. Let's draw 7. Hopefully we'll draw what we need. Okay, cool. So we're gonna pitch this. Probably pitch a bunch of lands. I don't think we need that many lands. 5 cards. Pitch a land. Maybe want to keep 1 land in hand. Probably do that. Might not need a Thoughtseize as much either, so. Let's see what they can jam out. That's fine. Maybe I should have pitched the rights here. I forgot I could revive with her. That's my mistake there. I definitely messed up there. I should have pitched her, call yeah, I messed up there, but I think we can still recover from this. We can make a bunch of I have the combo, kinda. We do. Okay. Best I can do is try to counter. Maybe take control of something. I messed up there. Next turn I can jam down the Sarah's Embassy. Don't think I want to attack. Do this. Get rid of all the thought seizes. We're not gonna need that. Get rid of our second Sarah's. Get rid of our land here. Land. Let's get rid of the Fell Priest here. Yeah, I should have gotten rid of that last turn. If we survive this turn, we'll be in a good spot. What's infinite token and stuff gonna do, really? They're gonna run out of time before they can do anything here. I'm okay with them casting that, I guess. Oh, okay. Maybe I shouldn't have let that through? Let's see, what am I gonna do? Let's take control of it. I think they messed up there. They should have just swung with their whole board, but I guess they didn't have enough mana. Okay. Let's jam this down. We gotta be careful about our Jintaxia, because that will kill us. I think that's game. They're not gonna be able to attack us again with this thing. I'm gonna start smacking him in the face. I just produce this green, it doesn't even matter. Once they have an answer to that, they're not gonna be able to do anything. If I might be boasting a little too quickly, might be eating my words in the next couple minutes, but we'll see. I don't know if they realize what she's gonna do to them. We're hoping to draw a bone shard here. Ooh, not quite what we wanted. Yeah, we have 20 cards left. I think we'll be fine. Let's keep one land. Dump this, dump the stitches. We aren't gonna probably ever play another stitch or so. I'll be dumping their land. What land don't we want? Sure. It's very cool. Nice. I'm gonna be a little Audacious here. I think that's exactly lethal. Yep. There you go. So they were playing a combo deck. We were also playing a combo deck, but we had an answer they could not deal with. So my misplay there was I should have jammed her a lot earlier by discarding the priest. I don't know why I kept her in hand. I forget that she has summoning sickness, so I think I was try to summon her, wait a turn, do that the whole shebang thing, but ended up not being able to do that. Their mistake was just attacking with one creature, I guess. Like, yeah, if they attacked us with something with lifelink, they could have created infinite tokens. Like, we lost this deck 2 days ago, or because I misplayed. I totally, when I thought season, I forgot about this infinite combo right here. So they'll make a bunch of tokens. They'll heal 1,000,000. You can still beat this deck. I mean, it's not an impossible deck to beat. You board wipe them, they're done for. So, that's the thing. But with this, my deck, like, I don't care how much tokens you make. Like, if they can't attack me, what's that's gonna do, So yeah, that's why I wasn't sure that why he just didn't scoop it up. I mean, I guess if you never played against this card or you don't know how protection works, then you just attack and pray that it does some sort of damage. So unless your creature does damage with an effect, then protections won't let you deal any sort of damage. So that's the cool thing. It's like you can't deal damage to me. You can't target me with creature effects, I guess, stuff like that. So I mean, that's just kind of the cool thing there. So I think I made the right play in playing the Jintaxia, because Jintaxia, I knew my win con against this deck was just gonna be her. Like, if I can draw and dump her to the graveyard, perfect. They have the mana dorks, so like, jamming a Vorinclex isn't gonna do much. I don't think we could have outraced the amount of tokens they would have produced with their combo. So like, Coma, I guess what I could have done with Coma is if I did bring out the Coma, they attack something and they try to make it lifelink, I would just tap it out with the Coma. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that well either, because I would have to tap them before they attack. If they attack, then it's already too late. I would assume they would just swing with their entire board and then activate the ability to target whatever's not tapped out, because I wouldn't be able to tap out their entire board with Coma. So Coma, not to play there either. So I think Jin definitely was Jin into Sarah was the best play, and I messed up with the priest. I could have gotten her out one turn earlier, but that's fine. I didn't think he would be able to kill me anyways, so I was safe for at least another turn or two. So yeah, quick game there. Kind of just the analysis of the gameplay decisions. And I guess Apparition kind of deals with the combo too. If I did draw Apparition, I would just exile the speak of the devil, he's right here, or she, and exile that card, and then we would be fine. I think my gameplay here is gonna go Hollow Fountain into consider. Remember, this is always a tempo loss. We don't mind taking the damage as much. Ooh, that kind of sucks. We're gonna need our lands, so let's draw that. I'm gonna do this. Stitch Supplies for now. We might. Maybe I wanted to maybe I should have thought seize first. Yeah. So they had Thalia. That's always kind of freaking annoying. Do this. So we can get rid of Thalia. I think Thalia is worth getting rid of right now. And then I think we're gonna try to pick apart their hand. So that's the other thing that this thing serves. That's fine. I mean, it already did its job. I don't know why he would do that. I guess he makes more attackers. We're gonna try to hopefully pick apart there. I could Sky Enclave there. Sky Enclave. I guess I'd rather save it though. This is a bit of a tempo loss. I'll just all pay. See what they got. Coco. Ooh. Should have done that one turn earlier. I think we might lose the Coco here. I cannot deal with the Coco. We are a land behind. See what we can hit with the switches then. We don't have any payoffs, unfortunately. I'm missing lands. I guess they're hoping to get Thalia, is what I presume. Or that, just make a bunch of these things. Okay. Yeah, I think we're stuck on the lands here. Can't really deal with his board that efficiently. Yeah, I do have a tough time against this type of deck anyway, so it's expected. Coco kind of put us really far behind. Nope, that's gonna be it then. I don't think there's anything I can do. Even if I shocked in my land, I don't have anything to revive, so that's unfortunate. Let's go ahead and move on. Yeah, I don't think I've been able to beat this deck. This deck just attacks, the taxing part just hurts this deck so much. I think that's the toughest matchup I could possibly have for this deck. And they always seem to open up with the two combo cards that I just cannot like out. Like they open up the Sentinel into Thalia. Like that always seems to happen. And I'm just like, alright, cool. I guess I can't cast my spells. I can't, you know, dig through my deck efficiently. If I can get out Sarah's Embassy, you know, I can win from there. But you know, getting there is very difficult against that, unfortunately. So, oh well. Not the greatest for sure. Let's go ahead and shock. Try to get the ball rolling as quickly as we can. Okay, another green deck. I'm not gonna land right now. Yeah, we're kind of flooding out. Not looking too great. Well, we have an answer here. Let's kill this. Discard this. Okay, well I think we win next turn, right? Maybe? No, two turns. That's kind of unfortunate. Alright. Next turn we'll go on burials into this, that, and if they don't just create a you know, create a Hoofa Seer to death or something like that, unlikely. They don't. We got rid of the thing that would enable that, which is the droid thing. So they can keep buffing up. I don't really care too much. I say that, but it's getting kind of dangerous. All right. Let's not screw this up. Sure. Cool. Now we just swing in and let's pray. We are at. We'll second hard cast the second one. And call it instances or something like that. Something that they can't deal with. Make it even more difficult for them to deal with it. We got them on a 2-turn clock next turn. Unless they can somehow get rid of this. I don't think anything in green can make all the tokens you want, but unless they have... Even with reach, they can't really do anything. I could make it really lame and board wipe them to be safe. But I think I'm just gonna... Board wiping will allow them to rebuild their board, and I'm just gonna try to win next turn at this point. It's no point in doing anything else at this point. Let's just do that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They build a whole army if they wanted to. I really love her. Like, I absolutely love her against like just green decks like this. They think they have an out. Game one, they don't. Like, you could build a million of these. It doesn't matter if you have reach. Doesn't matter if you have anything. You can't block. You can't do anything. And yeah, that was a pretty quick game. Well, I'd say quick, but we got to turn 7 before, you know, I could win the game. Yeah, in situations like that, like, yeah, you could go for the green, you could board wipe them, but if you could just win next turn, then just go for it. Just play, and you have to know your matchup. If you think your opponent can get rid of your Emercy with like a removal spell, then board wiping might be a safer bet. But them playing green, I don't think there's any card that they can use to wipe or to get rid of a creature. And plus, mono green elves is like they're going aggro anyways. Like, why are they gonna waste their draw cards playing removal? They're just gonna try to kill you before you can play the game. Our game is, well, we're not gonna let them play their game, their strategy. We're just gonna play the Emercy, and then they don't have an out. They don't have an out. See, that's why I mean by cutting down on the bit of board wipes, because we'll get games like that. It's like, yeah, it's cool if we're behind, we can board wipe, but you know, if we can just get our win con out, it's the Sarah's out, and what's the point of board wiping anymore? Sky Enclave, playing against the Thalia was good, so I think that's another thing that I can take into consideration is playing against stuff like Thalia. Sky Enclave is definitely gonna be better than banishing light, you know, because the Thalia will hurt us a little bit less because we have so many creatures. Granted, we can't block with block Thalia because, you know, she's got first strike, which makes her nearly an unblockable creature for the most part. But the cool thing is, you know, the Sky Enclave, or sorry, Skyclave apparition got rid of, you know, got rid of the Thalia, and we were able to just kind of play the game a little bit. Unfortunately, they had the collective company, and we couldn't deal with that. Coco decks are probably going to be our worst matchup. Unless we can get out the Emercy really quickly. Yeah, Coco decks will just generally overrun us for the most part. Especially weenies, since they're playing so many tax cards. So that will probably be our worst matchup. And that's why I think maybe Portable Hole might be good in those matchups. Is like, Portable Hole is cheap, it's 1 mana, we don't lose out on too much tempo. And we can still kind of get rid of some of their threats that will hinder us. So we can get rid of the Sentinels, we can get rid of Thalia, stuff like that. So that's another consideration for Portable Hole there. Something you might want to think about if you're going to try to play this deck. Another thing I was considering here is I was considering playing 4 copies of this and just 3 copies of the Priest. So I only say that because if you discard okay, well that was not a game there. Um, is that if you're playing the Unburials, it's great that you might be able to have something to play on turn 4. Like turn 4 is our main by turn 4 is our main goal to start reanimating stuff. I love the priest. Problem with the priest is you're playing against a red deck. It's just really bad. Like I haven't beaten Phoenix. I think Phoenix is my one of my also worst matchup because they get their strategy out really quickly, and they every time I try to hardcast priest on turn 2, they always have an answer for her, even though I have nothing in the grave. So that's just a problem with playing her on turn um, 2 is you risk her getting removed. Obviously, she's really sacky. Like just I mean, the entire deck is about sacking out your opponent, anyways. So, like if we sack him out with the Burials, great, or we sack him out with the priest. Let's choose one of the two, right? Um, Problem with the priest is she's also kind of expensive to play. Like she costs 3 life. While we do recover some life in our matchup with the faithful mending, the main problem is when it comes down to late game or something like that, or you're playing against a really aggressive deck. Sometimes you just don't have enough life to pay for it. You'll be at 1 or 2 life. On top of all of our shock lands, we're paying a lot of life too. So just be careful with that. Um, with the Godless Shrine, I think a viewer of mine mentioned in another comment that I could be playing concealed the fast land, this land right here, and there might be an argument for it. There might be an argument that you can play 1 or 2 copies of this, and it would be fine in the opening hand, so you don't have to shock yourself to play like a Thoughtseize, or to play like a Bones, or sorry, not Bones, Stitches. So there is an argument to play this, so you can play this in turn 2 or turn 1, and you'll be fine. The only thing I don't like about it is that it obviously doesn't give you the plains and the swamp keyword, but because you know we are playing 7 check lands, maybe even more, but that's the only thing I don't like about Concealed Courtyard. So maybe there is a chance to play maybe 2 Concealed Courtyards and 2 Godless Shrines instead. That might be something you can do, so that the land base is not as painful. For the most part, I mean it's not it is I think it makes a very small difference between this and the Godless Shrine. The reason I wouldn't play more than wouldn't play this in the main deck plus the Godless Shrine is that we need our blue sources, namely for the Archmage's Charm, and the Mending. Like these 3 cards are probably our core of our decks, plus the black mana, of course. So that'd only be the only reason I wouldn't play like Godless Shrine plus the Concealed Courtyard. Um, any more of this, and you're gonna be stuck on blue or white and black mana, and a lot of our cards don't care to cast that. Our only card that uses blue and or sorry, black and white mana is gonna be the priest. Everything else uses either blue or black mana, like Dimir colors. Yeah, we have the Sky Enclave, but you know everything else gives us white mana also. So yeah, that I'm not too sure about. You could probably do 1 or 2. I'll think about it. I might want to bump up the Glacial instead here, because we do. If we're playing Sky Enclave, we also probably want to see more white mana coming in versus black mana, because we have enough for black mana. I think we might be lacking a bit on white, so I might make that change right now. How much rare cards do I have? I have plenty. What's one more gonna do for us here? Let's just go ahead and craft another one. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bump up the Glacial and down the Catacombs. In theory, what I could do is just down the Godless and just play like this, I guess. Would this be too greedy? I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know if this is too greedy or not. Let me think about it for a second here. I mean, it makes a very, very small difference. We're playing less shocks, which is great, but the problem with check lands is that if you don't have any other like name islands and stuff like that, they're kind of bad. So I don't know. Let me think. We have a total of 15 lands with a name and then 4 check lands. I haven't really run into the issue of just drawing too many check lands and not seeing any shocks or any basics that give us the keywords. I mean, I could, in theory, I could totally get rid of just get rid of these in general, because I haven't really ran into anything that played too much land destruction, and I don't think anyone would really want to play any land destruction against me anyways. Like, you know, Field of the Runes. But this is just namely here for Assassin's Trophy, stuff like that, where it forces you to maybe get a land. And I just want 2 copies of 2 basics that I can obviously use turn 1. Because I guess it's entirely up to you how you want to build this mana base. It's the mana base is definitely a little wacky. I'll say that much. I think this is fine. I think we'll test this out. See how this goes. We'll make our land base a little less painful, and we'll give ourselves a little bit more access to white and blue instead of black and white. Because black and white, like I mentioned, it's the Orzhov color is not that great. We definitely want Domir and Azorius colors. Okay, a pretty decent hand. So yeah, so this gets a little sketchy here when you see something like this. But luckily we had one of the one of these in there. Okay, we might want to just get rid of any counter spells and stuff if they're playing this. Ooh. Counter spells. The normal cost of this. If I don't get rid of these, like, this is a very strange predicament here. They have redundant stuff. I don't know if I want to let them have 2 of these, because then we might just lose really quickly if I leave the phantoms up. Them countering our spell is gonna suck. I think we're gonna have to suck it up and let them counter our spells here. It's just a 1/1 disturb. Let's get rid of this. We're gonna try to stay alive a little bit, but we'll see. That also sucks. So we can be really cheeky and try to take control of it next turn. If they tapped out, maybe. If we can take control of this, that would be quite amazing. 3 mana. Any of this right here. Tough spot. I don't know if they flash in the Spectre, then I think we'll take control of that, but they are not flashing it in, okay. That sucks. 'Cause I do want to do the snare. If we had a payoff, that would be great. I can force him to use the counter spell now. No, I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference here whether I let them use the counter spell now or not. It's gonna be very tough. Unfortunately, I wish I had a payoff in the grave. If they drew double counter spell, that would kind of suck. I think we need this right here. Yeah, them going first and having both the Curious and the Lantern up, that kind of sucked. We're also down on land. I could Faithful Mending, try to get a land, you know, do that. I guess I misplayed there a little bit. I just wanted to represent something so that maybe they'll be sketched about attacking, but at this point, I think they got it with just drawing off the curiosity over here. Yeah, maybe I should have gotten rid of the counter spell. It's a tough choice with either to get aggroed down or get rid of the counter spell. But well, I don't think I'll be casting Thoughtseize. What can I get? I think they're trying to draw for a counter spell. Yeah, they got it. Shit. Not drawing a land kind of sucks too, I guess. I think I went through all of that and not a single land. That's kind of crazy. Went through 16 cards of my deck and I didn't see another land. Oh well. Shit happens, right? And I might have misplayed with not getting rid of that counter spell. I knew that was gonna bite me in the butt. But I also, I mean, it's a hard choice there, I think. Like, you know, I'll just throw it out there. If they got it, they got it. Like, what else can I do, right? Just make a blocker, I guess. Vorinclex. I mean, Shieldred's the most tempting, but I will still die to a lot of stuff. Let's see. They got a counter spell. They got it, right? What else do we gotta lose? Oh, what? Wait, what? What? They didn't have a counter spell? Really? Oh! Well, shit. I guess they can't remove this thing either? Alright, well, I don't know if I felt good about that win. I'll be straight honest, because that was just... What did they have in their hand that they couldn't deal with a Dream Trawler? Am I really that afraid? Like, I guess I can attack, and draw, and Dream Trawler is really hard to remove, being that they're Azorius, I guess. they really couldn't deal with the Dream Trawler? They had that 6 card. They would have 7 cards in their hand. Like, I find that very, very hard to believe that they would not be able to deal with a Dream Trawler. Well, yeah, I, I don't really know how I feel about that. I guess maybe they only have. I assume they have 4 copies of the Gishlight Snare here. They're playing Spirit, and like, why wouldn't they, right? But that's crazy that maybe. I mean, I think their other option was just to put a bunch of flying creatures out. I mean, I only have 1 Dream Trawler to block with. They just put a bunch of flying creatures and swing face. Unless that all they drew was lands, like it could be a high probability that maybe they all they had was lands. I mean, they were drawing like so many cards off of the Spectre and the Curious Obsession. I can't imagine like they would not be able to deal with just a simple Dream Trawler. I say simple, but I mean I know Dream Trawler. That's why I chose to revive it, because it's a little bit harder to remove. And it kind of keeps me in the game versus my other payoffs. Like I could have gotten a Shield Dread, but that doesn't deal with like his other stuff, and I'll still probably die to like a for him swinging to my face every turn with the flyers. But really, yeah, dang. Well, I guess a win's a win, but that was unexpected for like an Olo concede there. Well, I think that's enough for today. I think I spent quite a bit of time just rambling on earlier. Yeah, so I think we only lost 1 match today, or 1 game today. It's just not too bad. We're about to lose that one. Honestly, that one was not a game that we should have won. That one was a game that I kept playing just because. But yeah, like I misplayed there. I should have taken the counterspell. I guess I should have expected him to play a Curiosity, and if I got rid of the counterspell, I would just take control of his creature and swung in face, or just just leave it there, and we would have been fine. But yeah, that I don't know what happened there, and yeah, like I was out of steam, as you can see. Like this deck, top decking was bad. Like I top deck a Thoughtseize, and I was like, all right, well this is not gonna do anything. Top deck land, okay, I can cast an Unburial. It's a little late, but it's something better than nothing. And I went through 16, 18 cards of my deck, plus my opening hand, which meant I probably had like 23 cards, 24 cards, a third of my deck, and I only had 3 lands that entire game. Yeah, like I know my mana base is definitely greedy, but I did a lot of draw spells. How many Faithfuls did I cast? I cast like 2 Faithful Mendings, plus a bunch of other stuff. Should have saw on a 4th land by then. That was kind of unlucky on our end that I couldn't draw another land to kind of reanimate a little bit quicker, and I misplayed that. I should have just always take the counter spell. Like screw his threats. Like if I can get this, if I can stick Emercy, doesn't matter how many creatures he had on board. I was just scared that he was gonna overrun us with both of them. Like if he had both of those, they would pump each other up to like a 2/2 plus pump that flyer to like a 3/3, and they'd be clocking us really quickly, and I didn't think I would have enough speed to be able to get the Aceras out, or some sort of block, or a Dream Trawler out to block and draw. So that game was definitely his to win. I just don't know why he scooped so sort of like early. Like he could have just played it out and probably outvalued and dealt with my Dream Trawler, because I would have probably just kept attacking too with Dream Trawler. Like, Dream Trawler's got technically a built-in Curious Obsession, right? So like I would probably be attacking, he'd be attacking me, and I think he would outrace me. I heal 4, draw a card. Best I could do is reanimate maybe like a Shield Dread or something, and start applying pressure that way. But I mean, I don't know what he had in his hand that he could not deal with a Dream Trawler, or maybe a Shield Dread or something. So interesting game. Yeah, I got to gold 3 in a couple of plays there. I think one of the game was a non-game. Our opponent disconnected, so I'm not even count as a win. But yeah, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed that and learned something. I definitely did learn a lot playing this deck too, and hopefully we'll make improvements. And this will maybe take us to Diamond or even Mythic this season, maybe. Like I mentioned, I'm gonna be out for maybe a month or so, mid December to July, because I got some plans to be out of town for a while. So we'll see. I might be able to play on a laptop or something, and maybe do some screen capture that way. Anyways, see you guys next time.